Hi Bonita. I am doing a quick little video tutorial for you on how to do an ombre technique classic method, and I will do a follow-up video on how to do like a holographic, or what is the other one even called? Metallic method. Yeah, so I'll do another video doing basic classic method with the brush and holographic metallic method with the mineral bond applicator. So today I'm going to do the classic method with a sponge because I'm doing an ombre technique, and I'm going to try to do a 3-color ombre. I've only done a 2-color before. So I will be using this little triangle makeup sponge. I used to use, like, not this sponge, but I told you before I used to use like the sponges from um, the toe separators or whatever you call them when you're doing the manicures and pedicures. But I used to do that for just even a single color, but I did switch recently to the brush that comes with the Sistaco kit, and I find that actually really worked well too. So I'm going to be now using just like sponges for just ombre. This is just my thing. You can figure out what works for you. And I'm going to use the brush for solid colors, and I'll probably use Mineral Bond applicator, which you'll see in the other video for the holographic metallic. So with that, I'm going to just show you. So I basically did my nail prep. So for me, that is like I filed my nails to the appropriate length. You can see how long they are getting with this system. I do have some cuts and stuff here where I nicked my finger. But basically I just like filed, pushed back my cuticles, like trimmed up around the edges, that sort of stuff. So I try to get that as neat as possible before beginning. I did this yesterday because it does take me a little bit to do my nail prep the way I want it. So did that. I just did a good washing of my hands per the recommendations, and now I'm going to just do a light buff with just a nail file just on the nail bed. And that's just basically to have the product adhere to it a little bit better. So nothing major. Don't want to like wreck my nails. Just a little light buffing. And this system has also really helped strengthen my nails as well. So I just want to show you, like, I don't know if you can see that, but like I'm pushing down and it's like pretty solid. Like they feel pretty stiff there. So they're getting better. My smaller nails are a little bit more bendable, but for the most part they're starting to thicken up really nice. Okay, so I've done that, and I'm just gonna like kind of wipe off any excess kind of dust. And I'll do it with my other hand too, just so I don't forget by the time I do the other hand. And because my nails will be done, and I'm not going to take them off for a little bit, what I'll do when I do the other video for the holographic metallic, I'll probably just use a fake nail swatch, the ones I've been painting the colors on and labeling, and I have a holographic color that I haven't done yet, so I'll, like holographic or metallic, so I'll just do that. The holographic and metallic method are the same anyway, so I'll just do one in that color range, and then I'll do it in the classic technique, so you can see the brush and the applicator and stuff that I'm using, and you'll be able to see if you find it easy or whatnot. Sorry, my dog is snorting in the background. She's behind me on the couch here laying down. Okay, so my nails are filed. Like I said, I've never done the 3-color technique before. I'm gonna lay a few napkins down just for mess purposes. This is the Sistaco pedestal, which I didn't think I needed initially because I was doing, like I said, a sponge, and you'll see when we do the sponge there's very little wastage at all. However, it does come in handy when you're doing the brush technique that comes with it, or the mineral bond applicator. So I'm really glad I got it, and it does make new colors. So basically it's just a fine mesh top, and it goes through, and you can see that like I have a color in there, and that was the color I made last time. It looks more purple, but and it is more purple, but when I took a picture last time and sent it to you, it looked more brown. But anyway, so it's kind of fun. It just makes pedestal pop mixes. So anyway, okay, so I'm gonna get started here. Hopefully you can see. I hope the lighting is okay. All right, so the first thing I do, even before the base coat, I prep my sponge so it's ready for the first dip. So what I'm gonna do, I have 3 colors here. I have mocha, and this one hasn't been opened yet. And I also keep these, the tops. One of the tips was to save, the tips in the Facebook group was to save the inside top. So if that ever spilled, it's just kind of like an extra little barrier there. I don't know if you can even see that. So I just leave those on, but when I'm taking them off, I just put them inside the cover. Okay, so there's the mocha. And then I got Bloom. So that's going to be my second color. I haven't used this one yet either. So I'm just going to take that up. And you got to be very gentle taking them off because they can fly out of here. This one looks very pinky or peachy, so I don't know how it's going to look. Anyway, I did it on the sample swatch for myself. Oh, and this one is baby pink. So, I don't know if I can get that one out. Okay. So what I plan on doing, I wanted to have them in this particular order, where I have the mocha closer to my nail bed, and then I wanted to have, what did I say this color was again? The Bloom, more towards the middle, and then I wanted to have the baby pink at the tip of the nail. So because of that, when I push this down, it's going to be down this way, so I got to have the colors in that order. So towards the tip, I don't know if you can see this, so towards the, which way should I do this? Towards the tip of the makeup brush here, sponge, I'm going to have the mocha here, then I'm going to have a little bit of that Bloom, and then I'm going to have the baby pink somewhere around here. So when they flip upside down, it'll be in the right order. So what I do, I used to use a little tiny brush, and I don't even think I have my brush here. So now I found this little, I don't even know what it is. Anyway, it's probably some painting tool. You can use whatever. You can even just use a little tiny makeup brush. That's what I was using before, just to kind of like scoop out the color. Okay, so I'm going to just take out, and I hope you can see this. And I'm just taking out a very, I don't know if this will focus enough. I'm just going to take out a very tiny bit, so that's what I'm using, and I'm basically pushing it, and see, this is a good time to put it on here because it'll catch any excess. So I'm going to just kind of like dab it in here. That actually might have been too much. So now I'm going to kind of scoop it off. You can just leave that there just in case. So I'm just talking to my husband. He's bringing me a different contraption for this video. Anyway, so it's a good thing there's paper towels and little things because it makes a little bit of a mess. So that actually might be too much product. Like, as you can see, it's only very little. But just where I want it to end on my nail, like that might be going up a little too high, especially on my little nails. So I might have to like I don't know, I might have to put the Bloom a little bit over that, and then it might not be quite Bloom. So I don't know what's gonna happen. We're experimenting together here. Anyway, I'm gonna go a smaller amount on this. You can see just a tiny little bit, and I'm gonna put it in the second spot here. Push it on. this looks like when we get them all in together. I'm getting some of the brown in with this actually. Anyway, hopefully it'll turn out somewhat okay. Definitely got some of the, oh, I even got some of my brown in the pot. Oh, I'm gonna put this in my pedestal mix so I don't permanently mess it. That's a lesson for me to probably wipe this off in between so I don't mix colors in my pots. So anyway, last is the baby pink. So we're gonna put that on here. I really feel like an artist or something. And I'm gonna have to do this each time. So you'll see this doing ombre does take a little bit of extra time. I already got color on my thumb, even though they're supposed to be cleaned. Anyway, very delicate. Definitely don't recommend doing this if you have a busy environment around you and likely to have things knocked over. Okay, so now we're going to do the base coat, and I really wanted to show you how much to use, how little to use, I guess I should say. So I'm hoping you can really see this. So I always make sure to like scrape this off, flip it around. You'll see just a little blob. I don't even know if you can see that. Little blob on the end, and I still wipe that off. Sometimes I even go up a little bit further. You'll kind of get a gauge for it once you start. It should feel like it's going on smooth, but not excessively, like you're having to go over and over and over. And it shouldn't be dry, that it's like getting stuck, kind of like, you know, so it should go on smooth. So I'm going to just start. Obviously, we're just applying this like regular nail polish. Like I said, it should go on smooth. It's not getting stuck. I might flip it around. Might have to go over it a little bit more if there's like a little bit of excess, but for the most part, it's very, very little that goes on this brush. So there's no like runoff or anything like that. Again, dipping off any excess. I don't want it to have anything kind of pooling down. That one was a little bit dry there, so I just turned it over and I got some additional. And when that happens too, sometimes I just like even push it from the tip and kind of like move that liquid down because it is on the brush. It just might not be right at the end of the brush. So I just kind of, like I said, move it down so I get more of it towards the end of the bristles rather than re-dipping it in. Okay, there's a blob there. I'm gonna dab that off. There's another blob starting to develop right there, so I might scrape that off too because it's a little too blobby. And then hopefully it won't be dry. And I apologize if this video is long and boring. I'll pause it and like skip ahead when I'm doing the waiting under the light for the curing and everything. Okay, so we got this all on. Now we're going to set the light. And basically, I'm going to just do a long hold. So this is supposed to set for the 2 minutes. So I just literally push it down. Don't release until the light comes on. And this should be 2 minutes set. So there my nails go under. Kind of just turn my finger so like the thumb is also getting the light. So you got to make sure you really get that thumb in there. So I'm just going to pause this until this timer stops and we'll resume. Sometimes too, Bonita, I pick up the lamp and I just turn my fingers kind of like a claw. I don't know if you can see that. And I just hold it that way so that all my fingers get the light as well. So whatever way you prefer to do. Okay. Got some color already underneath this nail. I'm gonna try to, I must have got some powder color in there. Anyway, it's not a big deal. It'll come out when I wash my hands, but just shows you how delicate this stuff is and can be messy, but like I said, it's not like nail polish where it gets all over everything and it like dries and like can't get it off. So this does come off when you wash your hands. So if you get some on, it's fine. Okay, so now we're ready to do the color. So we're gonna try this first. So you'll see I'm literally taking the sponge brush and I'm just gonna do a dab. And I push it all the way down on the nail. And you can go over it a few times. So this way is really, I find, like less messy because it's just really sticking onto the nail. And that's about it. So depending on like where you want the ombre to be or how many colors, it's almost kind of looking like 2 colors even though I got 3 in there. But you'd have to almost kind of like gauge how long your nail is, because obviously, and sometimes I even, sorry, I'm all over the place here with this video. Sometimes I have 2 sponges because my big nail is obviously bigger. So I would have one for that, and I might have like the color where I want it to hit on a certain spot, but because my other fingers are smaller, I would do like a separate sponge because of that, which I might actually need to do, because when I'm looking at this nail, it looks like the mocha is going to hit majority of my nail and I'm not even going to get the other colors. So I'm probably going to have to do the exact same thing. So whether I do a new sponge or just do it in a different spot. So here's what it looks like. So it's very neat. You can see it's really not on my skin. I don't think this lighting is great for the color pickup, but sorry about that. I'm in a really poor lit area of my house. Try to get close, and then it's making it blurry. But anyway, so look, it's like looking pretty, and that's just one coat. So what I might do on the other side of this, I think I'm going to do smaller amounts, so I'll have it for the other nails. So I'm going to do that now. So I'm going to use way less of that brown this time, and I'm going to put it on this part of the sponge, but hopefully closer to the I feel like an artist.
You fakers?
Sorry, Bonita. My husband's playing video games and he's talking to himself. Anyway, this is how we are spending our Saturday, doing whatever we want. Okay, it's still a little bit bigger than I was hoping, but whatever. Trial and error, trial and error. So I'm just wiping off that little thing. I'm scooping. And like I said, you can just use a little tiny makeup brush. I've done that. I just had this. I found this. I was like, maybe I'll try this little instrument and see how this goes. Scooping off any excess. It's just a very tiny amounts here we're using. And I do have time, like I know that base coat is still on my nail, it's fine, it'll still be tacky, and it should be tacky. I don't recommend touching it. I mean, if you have to, just to see if it's tacky, but it should be tacky for the powder to adhere to it. So I find, like, even when I do this, even if I take some time, it doesn't, I don't find it gets, it's too bad. I find it stays tacky, so, which is great. And just a tiny bit of the baby pink. A little bit more of that. Doo-doo. Okay, so you'll see I did a smaller side on that side. So that's what I'm going to now use for the other fingers. So here we go. So again, just really push down firm. See? You can see more of the baby pink I find in this one here. The tip is a little bit more lighter color, which is great. Couldn't really pick up on that in my thumb, so I'll try to get that maybe more on the second coat. Oh, and I just dabbed the baby pink end by itself, so now I got more on there. But anyway, and you can do that too. You can kind of play, if you can just hit those the colors you want, try to blend them in a bit better. So it's all kind of messing around, playing with it. Anyway, you might need to reapply the color. Like, I don't know if I have enough on this right now to get this nail, so I'm probably going to have to reapply, and that's fine. So then I just literally put it back on the same side. I'm glad I did the nail prep the night before, because like I said, for me, that's the part that takes the longest. Especially if I'm taking off old product, which a tip for that too, and I just tried it this last time and I found it really helped. I definitely, like, I take the file and I really file it pretty good, to the point where it almost, like, a lot of it comes off even with just like the file. Like, I find I'm filing a lot of the color off, and then I go in, then I go and I put the express remover on, and I wait the whatever time frame it is, 3 to 5 minutes or whatever, and you'll start to see it lift, and then I do a peel, and I find I just do that about twice, and then it's usually pretty good. There might be little bits on, but at that point, when I'm doing my like, I wash my hands, I kind of wet my cuticles, and then I use this actually. I don't even know what the heck this is either. I don't know what these tools are called. Anyway, I use this end here to push my cuticles back, and any little bit that's left on from the express remover usually comes off with that. So it usually is about 2 coats of the express remover when I do a really good nail buff. If I don't do the nail buff, or I don't do it well, then I'd probably sometimes even have to do 3 coats of the express remover. So obviously your nails are kind of looking like they're still good. Like, the nail beds aren't damaged, and like I said, they're actually getting stronger, certainly getting longer. But they just, like, they had growth, so cuticles have kind of grown in, and anyway, so I gotta, like, tidy them up, push those cuticles back, reshape them. They're usually so long, I gotta actually trim them back a bit. So yeah, it's I definitely find it helped yesterday, where I kind of did the prep yesterday, and then I was just, like, kind of ready to go today. So I might do that going forward. It makes it more fun too, because then you can just focus on actually doing the application. Sorry, this is so tedious. So here we go, going back to this third nail, and you can see how long it's taking me, and it's fine. It's still tacky. It's staying, so it remains tacky. It doesn't dry anyway, right? Because it won't dry until you set it under that light. So you can take your time doing it this way, and that way you can still do your whole nails, and you don't have to do, like, slow it down and do like one finger at a time, because obviously that's going to take longer because you're going to have to set each one under the light for 2 minutes. And then again, when you do the top coat, and if you do 2 coats, so it'll take certainly a lot longer to do one finger at a time. But like little mess, there's hardly anything right now on my skin. I think I will like this when it's done. It'll look more vibrant with the 2 colors, the 2 coats, sorry. Okay, it's not really, I gotta put that on again because it's not really staying. I'm gonna try to go over my pedestal here to catch the excess. So I'm not sure if this is kind of like what you were doing or like how much you were using. So I find doing an ombre, even though I'm taking little bits of amounts, I probably am using more product than if I just did a straight up color, which you'll see in the next video. Only because I'm having to like reapply it every time to make sure that there's enough on there. But I found when I was doing just the brush or the Mineral Bond applicator, like I just found there's like less product used. You don't got to dip it in as much. But for the sake of how much I'm still using, there's still like a ton in these pots. So like there's enough for, God, they said 30 per each. I don't know. I feel like I could even maybe get more for some of these pots. And out of the frame here that you can't see, but I'm just wiping this off each time before I dip it into each pot so I don't get, like I said, the colors mixed together. I already had some like mocha color in one of these pots. Okay, so we're going back in. Hopefully I can stretch this out to the next 2 nails anyway. We'll see. Might have to push this one in really hard to get that color to come off so I don't have to re-dip. It's definitely not as bright. Might work though. I think I got enough on here. Got a little bump on this one. Sorry. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is the top coat. So it's basically base coat, cure for 2 minutes, the color or colors, then followed by top coat. And here's another tip for this. So we're going to cap the nails, and you've probably heard them talking about that. So whether you have short nails or long nails, some of mine are longer than others. Some people were saying that they use like those little strips of tape like underneath, and they put it under the skin and they tape it there and they like stick it down on the sides. I have those like almost like the cuticle strips or something, so you could try that to keep it off your skin. I don't really do anything. I've gotten it on my skin. If I put it under the lamp and I didn't get it off, like removed it all the way, I can feel like a little sting. I don't got particularly sensitive skin, so it doesn't really bother me. And then it's like the mildest, I don't know, irritation. But if you have sensitive skin, you might find it differently. So you might really want to make sure it's off your skin. So that is a method that I've been reading that on that group that some people are using, is those little strips. But anyway, that's one thing. So to cap your nails, whether they're short or long, it's a little bit tricky. I actually kind of find it helps with, if you wanted to put a little bit on the sponge, you could probably actually do it better. And maybe I'll try that, because what I was doing, so same thing, like that's obviously a big blob, so you're going to want to get that off there. I almost like get this like almost nothing on this, like really wipe down this bottle end. And basically I was kind of like dabbing the end. I don't know if you can see this. So like I was kind of like just going like that. just kind of touching along the end. See, I already got some on my skin a little bit. And even with this, the dabs, it's actually still going onto the front of the nail bed, and it leaves a bump, so you kind of do got to smooth it out. But that's what I was doing with each of my nails. And another technique, I mean, I think it could be worth trying. Like, I could put a little bit on here, on the sponge. Like, painting it on. Dabbing it on. And then actually, like, dabbing the ends of my nails. Seeing if that works. I don't know if it works as well, though. I don't know. Worth attempting. I like playing with this stuff. I'm going to go back to this, though. It seemed like I was getting it on better. So they say to dab. So I try to pull back the skin here with my finger and just really get the end of the nail. I'm sorry if this isn't very good visual. It's like very intricate work here. Again, try to pull back the skin with one finger, and I'm just dabbing lightly at the base of this bristle where it's more firm and rigid. So not at the end piece where it's more flimsy, but at the back here I just kind of run it along there. So this one you can see is very short nail, so I have to be, this one's most likely going to hit my skin, and it is what it is for me. Actually, this one I might need to go more at the softer part of the bristle just to have a little bit more flexibility with the brush. Okay, so once I do that, and then I go back in with a brush, and same thing like the base coat, you can see this, I really get a lot off of this brush. Like, I have barely anything on. I'm going to scrape off that big bubble. Just any kind of big blobs. I mean, you, like, again, you want some on because you don't want to have any blank spots, but you'll notice, you'll feel it. So I can see where that bump is there from where the end piece rolled over, so I'm hopefully going to smooth that out. So same thing, very simple, very light coat. So it was actually enough. There's no real excess, it's not pooling, and it didn't get stuck anywhere, so that tells me that it wasn't, it's not too dry or anything. You might get a little color pull off that goes into the bottle, but I don't know, from my experience, it's not really too bad. And even if it does, I'm like, well, I'm just kind of mixing new colors, I guess. A little bit of extra color, a different color in a bottle or something, like left over, going into my new color. But whatever, I don't care enough. So it's going on pretty smooth here. Not a whole lot of runoff, which is great. I probably have enough still on this brush to do this nail. Flipping it over. So you can see, like, it's very little amounts of this that we're using. We do not need a whole lot at all. And surprisingly, like, this is my non-dominant hand, so I'm using my dominant hand obviously to do this, but I do find even when I do my other hand, I can be pretty steady with it. It's the powders as opposed to nail polish, which for the life of me I can never be steady with nail polish. And where this is just a clear coat, it's like not a big deal if it's not perfect. At least you're not getting any colored polish on your skin. Okay, So we got that on. So now we're going to go set it under the lamp again for the 2-minute mark, and I'm just going to pause the video here because you already know what this is like. But anyway, I'm just going to show you it so you can see. 2 minutes, and then I'll pause the video. Fingers are going in. Okay, Bonita, so that's it for the first coat. So when you touch the top coat, it should not be tacky like the base coat is, so it should be completely dry at this point. So this is one coat, as you know, we just did it, so that's what it's starting to look like. Obviously, the more coats, the more vibrant. I am going to do a second coat, but for the purposes of this video and how long it is, I'm going to spare you from having to see that. So if you are to do a second coat, it's the exact same process. So even though you ended with a top coat and cure at the lamp, you're going to go right back into a base coat and cure with the lamp for the 2 minutes, and then your color, because you again need it to be tacky. You can't put classic color on top of this where it's dry, it won't stay. So you're just going to do the exact same steps over. It's going to become a little bit more pronounced. I'll probably send you a picture afterwards, and you can see the final result. And I got some color, you'll see, like on my skin here, see, so it still went on. This will easily wash off. I say easily, it might be a little bit of scrubbing, but not too much. It'll be just like basic soap and water. I'll be able to get that off. If there's anything that goes on the edges, same thing, I usually get it off. The other tool I was going to show you, this here, I again don't know what this is, Bonita. Like, I'm not girly enough. I don't know if this is something for nails. If I get any on the edges, not so much with the sponge, because you can see I don't get much on the edge with the sponge. When you use the brush and stuff, on the next video I send, you'll see it. What I usually do is I'll scrape this without trying to get my skin. I'll just scrape the edges and like lift up the excess color, and it usually comes up pretty good. That, and then the combination of just like washing your hands with soap and water usually gets a lot of it. And then usually by like the next day there's like nothing around the cuticles or like anything. It's like washed off and everything like that. So I don't know, just some like little tools. I don't know if where you can get this or if you can find something like that, but I do find that helpful. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful, and like I said, I will do follow-up video with the brush technique for like a solid color. And you could do this for a solid color too if you find this easy. You could just do one color and obviously just dab it on. And I still may do this. I mean, I just bought a pack of these on Amazon. It was like 500 or 300 or something in a pack for like next to nothing. But like I said, I did try the brush method just to see how it would be. I tried it on my the nail swatch sticks, and it went on pretty easy. Like I said, it's a little bit more messy. It comes off on the side, so I make sure my fingers are on the pedestal for that to catch the extra colors, so they're not wasted, and it will go in the pot. And then the Mineral Bond applicator, that's pretty fun to use when you're doing a metallic or hollow, so I can't wait to show you that. Anyway, if you have any questions, you know how to reach me, so don't hesitate to ask any questions you have, or if there was something that wasn't clear. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy, and I really, really am sorry for the length of this. Anyway, hope you're having a great weekend. Talk soon. Bye.